Good morning, everyone. I have my coffee ready to go. I have my kids eating breakfast, banging on the piano and making noise. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to sit down. I'm going to film a video and just chat with you guys. I have had many convictions on my heart from the Lord to just change some of the things that I am doing in my life to be more simpler, to be hopefully more God-honoring. And so I wanted to share a few of those things with you today. Again, if you are doing any of these things, please don't feel like I am telling you you're living your life wrong. I am not saying I'm living my life right. So just know that these are things that personally I feel like I don't want for my family, and just things that I want to change for myself so that I can try to mimic Jesus the best that I can. Obviously, I have a long ways to go, but I thought I like to watch these videos. I like to see and hear about what other people are doing in their home, in their family, that is working really well, that is God honoring. So please do share things that you are doing in your home that you love, things that you have tried that haven't worked, because you guys give me a lot of ideas and encouragement. And I know that it might not seem like it because I may not reply back to your emails, or if I do, it's taken a while, or maybe you don't feel like I've read your comments, but I do read them, I do get to them. So let's just get started and continue to encourage and build each other up. We're gonna start with a pretty controversial topic right off the bat, and that is parenting. Pretty much anything parenting is going to be controversial. You will have people for spanking, for yelling, for gentle parenting. Like the parenting spectrum is all over the place, but something I feel the Lord has really convicted me about personally is the amount I yell at my children. What, sweetheart? You want your hat on? Yeah. Hat. Now, I'm not going to say you shouldn't ever yell at your children. I'm not going to say that there isn't a time and a place to yell at your children. I am just saying I feel like the Lord has really called me to not necessarily gentle parenting, but just talking to my children in maybe a more respectful way. And the way that I have been thinking about this is, how has Jesus been parenting me? How has God been parenting and disciplining me? Because he isn't sitting here yelling at me. He is trying to understand me. He is disappointed in me, of course, but the way that he disciplines me is how I want to then discipline my children. And let me say, I am very firm and for discipline. Absolutely. It is necessary. By all means, it is biblical. And so I don't want to take away discipline from my children, but I want to be able to speak to them in a more respectful tone and try to keep calm, which is hard for myself. If the camera is moved, that's because someone has moved the camera. Oh my goodness. So sticking on the theme of kids, I'm going to be implementing 3 chores for my children. And really quickly, it's not that my kids haven't been doing chores. It's not that they can just do whatever they want and I pick up after them and they don't have to work or do anything. But I wanted them to have 3 specific chores that were just for them. And so how our family has been operating is we all work together to fold the laundry. We all work together to clean up all the toys, bring them downstairs, that sort of thing. We do a lot of things as a group. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and I will still continue to do that. But I wanted to give my children 3 specific tasks that they are in charge of, and that deals with their own personal items. So the 3 things are going to be, number 1, they make their bed every morning. They actually love to do this. I implemented this a couple years ago, and then we kind of fell off the bandwagon, and then I stopped caring that their beds were made. But recently they've been making their own beds, and they'll put their stuffed animals or their toys on it, and you know, the sheets are all crooked and it doesn't look the nicest, but they are so proud of it. And so I thought, you know what, we're just gonna make it a thing. You always make your bed, you come show me. It'll be really exciting, like, oh, how did you make your bed today? So that's the first thing. Oh my goodness. The next thing is making sure that they bring their plates to the counter. And this might be a thing that you guys have always done, but for us, because my kids are smaller, I just not necessarily have wanted to save dishes from potentially being broke, but it's just easier if I can just gather them all at the table and bring them over. But I decided, you know what, if a plate breaks, it breaks. I want my kids, after they're done eating every meal, to bring their things over to the island, to the sink, wherever and just be in charge of having to care for their own items and practicing being careful. The third thing that I want my kids to do is have specific toys that they care for. And we've had a lot of problems. I've talked about this in other videos, but we've had a lot of problems with our kids breaking toys, not respecting their things, throwing toys, not cleaning up. And so we did a thing where we took all the toys away and they slowly earned them back. And now we kind of have a system where all the toys are put away. So we have baskets of toys, they're individually categorized, and what happens is throughout the day, they can go and grab some. So for example, we have a box of where you can make tracks, and there's little trains, magnetic trains. And so if they want to go get those, they are more than welcome to go get that basket of toys. If they want something new, they are to pack all of those toys in and bring them downstairs, and then they can get something else. Now say they're like, oh, we want the animals and the magnets so that we can build a barn, something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Go take both the baskets. So it's not that they have to take one set of toys at a time, but I want them to not just grab all of the toys, because I have found that it is so true. The more you have out, the less that they play with it. And so if you take everything away, what is there? Say I took all of the toys away and I put little Transformers out, just for example. They will play with those because that's what's there. Kids are very interesting like that. And so something that I have found is getting all of the toys out of my space, out of the living room, out of the kitchen. It just causes so much less chaos for me internally, and then just toys from being scattered everywhere. So again, my kids can play with toys wherever they want. If they want to bring them into the kitchen, fine. But they are in charge of those toys, and then they are to pick them up and bring them downstairs. A few more things that I am wanting to implement are, number one, not eating out. Now, my husband and I do have a monthly budget for eating out because we enjoy eating out. You know, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's fun to just pick something up. But we are really struggling with how do we have this organic farm and this eating these organic foods and then going and kind of ruining everything by eating fast food. And I'm speaking more strictly to fast food here than going out to a restaurant. Now, it depends what restaurant you're talking about, but I don't want to eliminate the joy of going out to eat. I'm wanting to eliminate the unnecessary instances of going out to eat. I don't think processed foods are good for you. I truly, actually really believe that they're not. I believe that they're causing a lot of issues. I would be very interested to study the effects of processed food, of fast food, with things like infertility, ADHD, behavior. I truly believe that the fuel we are putting in our bodies is affecting our bodies. I mean, how can it not? So the more fake food, the more processed food, I don't know how to even describe. I can't even think of the adjectives. But all of these unhealthy foods that are with these fake man-made chemicals, again, you have to discern what's good for your body, what's not. With the research that we have, you know, it varies family to family, but not doing things from a box, not eating things like seed oils, those are going to be things I am going to be more strict on. Hi, sweetheart. You look so cute today.
This is my sweater.
You have an adorable sweater. So my goal is, if we go out to a fast food restaurant, which our family of 6 averages about $42 every time that we go out, 42 to 45 every time we go out to a fast food restaurant. That it is because we pretty much are traveling, we have to eat there, and then if my husband and I can kind of sneak away and go out to a fancier restaurant for fun, like, I'm fine with that. Again, I'm not going to be a super strict helicopter mom if, you know, something comes up, friends want to get together, things like that. But in the times that I can control, I'm going to choose no fast food, no processed food, no seed oils, and eating organic. The last thing, which is kind of a really weird thing, honestly, is getting rid of sippy cups. And I know that seems so strange, but last night I drank out of my daughter's sippy cup and it tasted like pure soap. It was super strange. You know, our sippy cups are getting cleaned. There's not like a soapy residue, But when I drink out of them, when I fill just the bottle itself with water, it tastes like soap, it tastes like chemicals, and I don't heat up anything in a sippy cup. I don't put a sippy cup in the microwave, no plastics in the microwave. But I have just found that every single time I try to eat out of, that's my dog. Every time I try to eat out of plastic, there is just such a taste and such a soapy taste. And so I thought, you know what, I'm done. We're not gonna do sippy cups. I know that it's really hard when a kid's in kind of this weird stage. What we did was we actually bought stainless steel cups and we bought glass mason jars with covers and then put a lid. You can either drink out of the lid or you can put a straw in, and that has been our best option so far. So just a few other things of what we do for our simple natural living is we eat at the table together. We make meals together. I have been trying to have my kids be incorporated in making every meal, every dessert, and just letting go of the perfectionism, letting go of the mess-free life, and just allowing them to measure. I'm teaching them. It is more work. It's more work to cook with your kids, but I know that it's going to be so much more beneficial to them. Garrett and I are already planning out our garden for next year. We want to be more self-sufficient. Right now we have pigs and chickens, so we're getting a lot of eggs, and we'll have our pig meat soon, but we want to get cows for next year. They obviously won't be ready for next year, but my parents give us beef right now. So we want to be more self-sustaining, know what goes into our bodies. So the last thing is really cutting back on technology, and our family only watches, well, my kids only watch one movie once a week, sometimes twice a week, but usually just one movie once a week. But technology for me, and I have been finding that if my kids are playing, if I have downtime, if I'm washing dishes, if I'm folding laundry, I have to be listening to something. I have to listen to the next podcast episode. I usually do it on YouTube, so I'm like also watching, also listening, and I have just felt such a strong conviction that I do not need to be listening and entertained at all moments of the day. I have found that if Garrett and I are sitting together, he gets up to like go get a drink, I'll just immediately get on my phone, and I don't like it. I'm done with that, honestly. I don't want my kids to just see me on the phone. I don't want them to be like, oh, mom's always listening to something. They come try and talk to me. I want to spend that time in prayer. That's what I am going to try and do, is any moment that is quiet, I'm going to allow it to be quiet. I'm going
to see you do something.
You are.
With your phone.
Yep. So if any moment is quiet, I want it to remain quiet. I want to be in prayer. I want to meditate on God's word that I read. And I know that it sounds a lot easier said than done, which I know, but it is such a temptation for me to just use that time to watch things, to listen to things, and I need to break it. I need to break that habit. So those are the things I'm going to be changing. Again, let me know what you are doing in your household. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a blessed day.